You're doom-scrolling real estate listings at midnight, and every decent house is priced like it comes with a private island. $500,000 for a place with 2003 laminate countertops, beige carpet, and a basement that looks like it's still emotionally attached to fake wood paneling. And the listing agent has the audacity to call it a starter home. So you sit there doing salary math in your head like, wait, did I miss a promotion? Did the market collectively lose its mind? Or is this just life now? Here's the twist. It's not you. It's the math. And the math is a straight-up horror movie. Today we're doing something that makes real estate agents sweat through their blazer. We're calculating who can actually afford a $500,000 house in 2026. Not who can get approved, but who can pay for it and still sleep at night. Because qualifying for a mortgage and affording a mortgage are two completely different universes. One is a bank's spreadsheet, the other is your mental health. Let's start with the uncomfortable part. In a lot of U.S. markets, $500,000 isn't nice. It's baseline. It's not a mansion. It's a 1,200 square foot box with a yard the size of a beach towel. And if you're anywhere near a big metro, places like Denver, Austin, or commuting distance from anything with jobs, that price point is what normal houses are expected to cost now. Meanwhile, the median U.S. household income is about $84,000. So we're asking people making $84,000 to buy homes that cost roughly 6 times their yearly income. Does that sound insane? It should. But everyone keeps telling you it's fine. The mortgage broker says you're approved. Your parents bought a house on way less. TikTok influencers claim they're building a portfolio with no money down. So what's the catch? The catch is simple. People are lying or they don't understand what affordable actually means. Let's talk down payment, the place where most dreams get murdered. The old rule was 20% down. On a $500,000 house, that's $100,000 in cash. Read that again? $100,000? The median U.S. savings account sits around $8,000. So you're not a little behind. You're basically living on a different planet from the down payment. And if you say, okay, I'll just save it. Cool. Let's do the math. If you make $84,000 and somehow save 10% of your gross income, which almost nobody does, that's $8,400 a year. Congrats! In about 12 years, you'll have your $100,000, assuming prices don't rise, which they will. So most people do what the system nudges them to do. They put down 5% or 10%, and that's when you unlock the DLC. Nobody asked for PMI. Private mortgage insurance. PMI is the monthly fee you pay for the crime of not being rich enough to put down 20%. It can be $200 to $400 a month, and it doesn't protect you. It protects the bank. Now, the mortgage itself, say you put down 10%, $50,000. That leaves a $450,000 loan. At 6 to 7% interest, you're looking at roughly $2,750 to $2,850 a month in principal and interest. And that's the before the universe hits you with reality number. Because you still need property taxes. Depending on where you live, that's roughly $4,000 to $8,000 a year. Call it $500 a month if we're being conservative. Then homeowners insurance, which has jumped lately thanks to climate risk and rising costs. That can be another $250 to $350 a month, depending on whether you live in flood country, fire country, or tornado roulette. Then maintenance, the cost everyone forgets until the water heater explodes at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. A common rule, budget 1% of the home's value per year. On $500,000, that's $5,000 a year, about $417 a month. And if you're under 20% down, PMI, again, add $200 to $400. So let's stack it up. Mortgage, $2,850 plus taxes, $500 plus insurance, $300 plus maintenance, $417 plus PME $300 equals roughly $4,367 a month. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong, which is adorable. Now here's where the affordability myth collapses. Financial advisors often say housing shouldn't exceed 28% of your gross monthly income. Banks might approve you up to a 43% debt-to-income ratio. If $4,367 is 28% of your gross monthly income, you need around $187,000 a year. If we use the looser 43% rule, you still need about $150,000. And here's the punchline. Only a minority of households makes $150,000 plus. So a huge chunk of the country is staring at $500,000 homes that are basically not designed for them. Not emotionally, mathematically. But people are still buying, you say. Right, who are they? Dual high-income couples. Family money, people cashing out equity, or people stretching so thin that one bad month turns into a financial collapse. Let's make it real. Meet a fictional couple, the Johnsons. Combined income, $160,000. Sounds solid, right? Upper middle class vibes. They should be fine. Except $160,000 is not what hits their bank account. After taxes, FICA, state tax, and maybe a modest retirement contribution, they take home around $9,500 a month. Then the house eats $4,367. Now they have $5,133 for everything else in life. 2 car payments because suburbia demands tribute, $800. Car insurance, $250. Gas, $300. Student loans, $600. Health premiums, $400. Groceries, $800. Utilities, internet, phones, $450. Now they're down to about $1,533. And that's before kids' activities, clothes, car repairs, medical copays, birthdays, emergencies, or the occasional human desire to go outside and feel alive. They're spending nearly half their take-home pay on housing. Not 28%, not 35%, half. That's not comfortably owning a home. That's living inside a spreadsheet. And what does house poor feel like? It feels like checking your bank app before buying groceries. It feels like praying the check engine light stays off this month. It feels like lying awake doing tire math. Then real life happens. HVAC breaks, $5,000. Deductible after a car accident, $1,000. Braces for your kid. Suddenly you're financing teeth like it's a used Honda. So imagine what $500,000 looks like to a household making $120,000. Or $100,000, or the actual median $84,000. At that income, this isn't tight. It's fantasy. Unless you have help or you accept insane risk. And here's the most toxic part. The system doesn't care. Sellers price based on comps. Banks approve based on ratios. Agents push you to stretch because their paycheck is the closing. Nobody in the transaction gets paid to protect your future stress levels. They get paid to get you to sign, and once you're in, you're stuck. You can't just casually undo a bad purchase without nuking your credit and eating your down payment, so people stay. In houses they can't afford. In jobs they hate. In a life where every surprise bill feels like a punch. So let's say the quiet part out loud. For a massive chunk of households, a $500,000 home isn't affordable. Not sustainably. This isn't about laziness. It's about prices disconnecting from incomes. You can't budget your way out of structural math. You can't side hustle your way into a 6-figure down payment while rent eats your paycheck. And you definitely can't manifest a lower interest rate with positive vibes. What you can do is run honest numbers and choose reality over pressure. Maybe you rent longer and invest the difference. Maybe you target $350,000 instead of $500,000. Maybe you move markets. Maybe you stop treating homeownership like a moral achievement. Because there is no prize for becoming house poor, no trophy, no secret adulting badge, just stress with a mortgage. So here's the practical takeaway. Stop asking, what do I qualify for? And start asking, what can I afford without turning my life into a financial stress simulator? If you're eyeing a $500,000 house and your household income is below roughly $140,000, you need to pause. Not because you're weak, because you're not trying to gamble a decade of your life on optimism and a lender's checkbox. And if you really want a winning strategy, it's this. Protect your margin. Build your emergency fund. Invest consistently. Keep your stress low enough to think clearly. That's wealth, not bragging rights. So the next time you see a starter home listed for $500,000 with beige carpet and a kitchen that time forgot, don't ask, how do I make this work? Ask, who is this actually built for? Because the smartest move isn't buying the biggest payment you can survive. The smartest move is refusing to drown yourself for fake wood paneling and a lender's applause. If you want more brutally honest breakdowns like this, subscribe and I'll keep doing the math nobody wants to do.